Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what is the worst season of a good show? Season 8 of Game of Thrones. Although it did start going downhill from season 6 onwards, season 8 was particularly bad and ruined the show's reputation. The long night perfectly encapsulates what went wrong. It was very clear the episode was made to look cool and exciting. They paid no attention to how nothing the defense did made sense. Why did they send the light cavalry out to get slaughtered? Why did they put the catapults in front of the castle? Why did they put troops outside the castle? Why did they put non-combatants in a crypt when fighting somebody who raises the dead? Why weren't the dragons attacking the dead from the air before they got to the castle? Why Bran? It's all fucking stupid. Why did Arya randomly show up and kill the big bad villain they had been hyping up for 4 seasons? Why the fuck did the guy who literally has an army of the dead not win in the end? Wherein Dexter totally negated / obliterated the original premise of the show. Which was, in fact, quite a good premise. I was absolutely convinced that Dexter would end up caught and receiving final injection with his sister watching him behind the glass. It would have been perfect. Him laying down on a sterile environment, surrounded by his killers, dying just like all the killers he killed. But they decided that he would flee and become a lumberjack in Canada. WATO. The original ending idea from creator was this, and to have the ghosts of all the people he killed in the viewer room watching the injection. Edit: I'll provide a link since this blew up, and it was the original showrunner not the creator. https://www.digitalspy.com/tv/ustv/a517677. Anybody down to TL, Doctor the Terrible Ending? PLS use spoiler text. I loved the show but stopped watching when Dexter and his sister started getting horny for each other or some shit. Season 2 was my favorite season, but the Trinity season was amazing too. Fun fact: they were married in real life. This might not make much sense, but every season of Thomas the Tank Engine after season 7 became the generic kids show with no substance, and as you can see later this year it's more evident than ever. It's a disgrace to Mr. Audrey and everyone in charge of the original show who made something way bigger than a generic kids show. It had such great lessons, funny moments, serious moments, scary moments, great narration from Ringo Starr, George Carlin, Alec Baldwin, and Michael Ageley's, fantastic music, great model trains, and sets. Everything was so great even adults enjoy it, but not the new stuff. Once hit bought the show, it became a baby lesson show with terrible narration, horrible lessons, lame stories and sets, bland music, and then it got the CGI treatment. No more models mean no more actual life in the show. Many say the Brenner era from I think season 15 to 22 was great, but I can't agree. No matter who comes in and writes good material now, Mattel has further butchered the show and it's making such little money now even kids don't enjoy it. I wish Brit never sold those rights to Hit. That was the start of the end. Edit: you fans are passionate just like me. I'm very happy that I could either change opinions, restore love, or remind people why they love Thomas. Thank you so much for the last 8 hours of great comments and awards. Edit 2, this is and will forever be my highest upvoted comment on Reddit. I love you all who were so sweet. I love the passion in this comment. This comment right here made me want to watch a kids show that I am never interested in. Dude, you look so invested in this, I really wanna watch it, and is it like another big show, and buy accessories like small desk statues and stuff. You won't be disappointed. Check YouTube for the first 7 seasons, they are all free and I've been rewatching them once more, enjoying every second. Season 8 of That 70s Show. I try to pretend it doesn't exist. That 70s Show had to deal with the sliding time scale and the fact that they decided to just not keep them in high school the entire time. Once they graduate, the writers had to come up with ways to justify all of them still being together, which wasn't all that great and really wearing thin, cast departures aside, by the time they reached the last 2 seasons. Edit: also speaking of cast departures, Randy did not inject any freshness into the show as his character was essentially a fusion of Eric and Kelso to compensate for the leaving of Kutcher and Grace. It's especially wonky because they were all in junior year from 76 to 78, and then from 78 to the end of 79 they somehow go from being seniors to being 2 years out of high school. Not about the season but the show in general. The worst part of season 8 is that it not only sucks but they make the remaining characters look like losers. Donna not going to college to wait on Eric, The Fez-Jackie storyline, the Hyde record store thing. All the season 8 story arcs were depressing. Hyde and Jackie are horrible to each other and both act like it was a mistake that they ever dated. And then she hooks up with Fez. It's like they were trying to offend Jackie / Hyde fans as much as possible. To me, this was the worst thing about season 8, not Randy. Randy sucks, but he was almost entirely left out of the finale, and he doesn't retroactively ruin earlier seasons. But how season 8 treats Jackie and Hyde ruins their relationship, because you know how it will end. I hated that Donna didn't go to college. I think there should be a law that stops the CW from making any show for more than 4 seasons at the very most. Supernatural gets 5 since that's where the original story was supposed to end. Supernatural had a lot of really good to great Monster of the Week episodes after season 5. My favorite is the Golem episode where they hunt Nazis. Once they established that angels and demos were way overpowered and archangels were super way overpowered, it really limited the stories that could be told. Parks and Recreation Season 1. They restarted again in Season 2, most notably making Leslie's character less dumb, and it worked well. Dude, I totally agree with this. Most people say it was getting rid of Mark that changed the tone of the show, but honestly it was how they changed Leslie. She went from this annoying simpleton to a driven, politically literate workaholic. Agreed. Mark's character gets a lot of hate, but his character just wasn't needed anymore because they brilliantly retooled all the main characters. Mark was the level-headed one amongst a gaggle of misfits, but in season 2 they were kind-hearted misfits and Mark had no purpose anymore. It was completely 180ing Leslie's character that made her someone to root for. These new fucky SpongeBob seasons. They really should change the term Fladerizatio to Spogificatio, because nearly every single character has been distilled to a single trait in a capacity worse than what happened to Ned. Yeah, like SpongeBob starts off as a dorky guy in his 20s with a bunch of weird hobbies and friends just living life, then later he becomes an absolute moron that's a danger to himself and society and basically equal to Patrick, who BTW started off as someone SpongeBob could go to for advice and was also nuanced. Yeah, to be honest, I barely noticed the Flanders things. The characters I hate most in the new Simpsons seasons are Bart and Lisa, because neither of them are likable. Lisa is a pessimist know-it-all, and Bart is an obnoxious child with no new jokes. Community Season 4. I think it is better than Reddit gives it credit for, but it noticeably worse than the other 5 seasons. Well, there was a gas leak, so. Well, Greedale was closed for sentimental reasons. And asbestos reasons, but it's clean as a whistle now. I would rather have season 4 while Troy and Shirley are still part of the show than the weird efforts to replace them. I honestly think Frankie and Elroy were great additions. Her insulting the dean despite trying not to is one of the best moments on the show, and so is Elroy's addiction to encouraging white people. I did miss Troy though. Never really cared much for Shirley, to be honest. Pierce was a bigger loss. The lottery-winning season of Roseanne. It made me so fucking mad, not even close to plausible. It especially infuriated that they wrote Dan Connor as a typical cheating spouse that would fall for some bimbo now that he had money after 25 plus years of being faithful to his wife and family. Get real. And then the insult that the entire series was all a story in Roseanne's mind, where she had made the characters into whatever she felt told a better story than her real life, in the final episode, pissed me off beyond belief. Roseanne was one of the only sitcoms of that time, and perhaps ever, that accurately depicted the struggles of a working-class family. The lottery-winning season was such a slap in the face of the whole premise of the show. Malcolm in the Middle depicted a working-class family pretty well, I think. Season 2 of Promised Everlad. It went from an interesting and thrilling story on a farm, to going through or skipping the rest of its arcs at the speed of light. Oof, if we got into shit aim seasons this thread would be so much longer. Stairs in Tokyo Ghoul. Edit, my inbox is now a cesspool of disappointing aim. Season 9 of The X-Files. Fox XX were greedy and wanted to milk that cow till the last drop. They had no show to replace that would have similar ratings, if what I've read is correct. From what I've read, even Gillian Anderson was ready to move on. I still can't believe it. The X-Files without Mulder. Personally, I liked season 8 because he was still in it half the season and they wrote around Dee Dee's absence. And the S8 ending was more than satisfactory. But no Mulder all season. What were they thinking? Season 9 of Scrubs. Just number I can't find proof of it anywhere, but I distinctly recall season 9 being advertised as a spin-off called Scrubs, Med School. They only started calling it season 9 when it got cancelled. It was supposed to be a spin-off, but ABC got cold feet and made them promote it as a new season. The creator, Bill Lawrence, has said as far as he is concerned Scrubs was 8 seasons and there was a single season spin-off.